Hi, Maya. Thank you so much for doing this. I really
No,
appreciate
no
it.
worries. No worries.
So, how are you? Doing good?
I- I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. So,
Good. What time is it in Thailand?
it's 5:30 p.m.
My goodness.
Good morning to you
I'm so jealous. Oh, I love Thailand. Oh, I want to go back.
Oh, okay. This is not like in the question list, but what's your favorite part about Thailand? Because I want to know.
Oh gosh. We did so much when we were there, but I think oh no, I've got like a top five. There
Oh,
was like too many things, too many. Like I enjoyed too much of it. I really enjoyed Chiang Mai because we went to see the elephants, and I absolutely just that I was just in my element. I love that. When we went to Krabi, we went to Brayley Beach, and I really enjoyed that as well. Um, there were so many. I actually really like Bangkok. Like my dad has been a million times, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not sure you're gonna like Bangkok. Like it's a bit wild." I loved Bangkok. I was like, Bangkok was one of my favorite places. And then where else did I really enjoy? We went to Dragon's Crest in Krabi as well, which I really loved. I thought that was really cool. The whole holiday, like we went to Koh Phangan as well, and stayed like on a resort, like just off Koh Ma, and I just had the best time. It was just the best holiday ever. Like I'm so glad we got it in before a global pandemic.
you have to come back then after all of this is over.
Oh God, I'd love to. Me and my boyfriend want to do some more of like Southeast Asia, so we want to do probably like Sri Lanka and like Malaysia and Bali and Vietnam. Vietnam is definitely on the list, but we
I
need to take like a good chunk of
Vietnam.
time out. Yeah, we'd have to take a good chunk because obviously it's quite long, isn't it? Like if you want to spend a good amount of time in like each place, you've got to be there for like at least like 3 weeks. So
I went there
I
three
think
times.
3 times.
Yeah,
That is amazing. That is amazing. Whereabouts in Thailand do you live?
in Bangkok.
You live in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Near the airport or near where there's no transport?
So I'm near like uh how do I explain, like the Grand Palace, like quite in the middle
Oh
of.
yeah. Yeah. We stayed near. Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. There's like a huge statue and a McDonald's, and it's like literally like 2 roads away from Kosan Road. I can't remember what that statue's called. I can't remember, but it was around there. That's where I stayed in
That's
Bangkok.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So how have you been like since the pandemic started? Like what were you up to?
Well, just as the pandemic started, um, I actually like just come back from Thailand. So when everyone was bulk buying and there was no hand sanitizer or hand wash anywhere or perishable food, me and my boyfriend were still in Thailand, um, and one of our flights got cancelled from Germany to our home destination. And by that point, I was so over it. And it was the whole, oh, there's this virus and it's locked down parts of Europe and but at that point, Thailand really had like a hold on it because I think obviously you guys just got a better understanding and just sorted it out straight away. Um, so it was such a shock to come back to the UK and it just be like so wild, because we got back on the 19th of March and then we went into like the official lockdown on the 21st 22nd of March. So we literally just got back off like the best holiday ever to come back to all of this. And I was actually the day after coming back from Thailand going to start my new job cases. So before I'd gone on holiday, I was doing my rehearsals and we did a couple of performances here and there, and I was in the studio recording songs and things like that. So I was excited to come. Like I'd had such a good beginning of 2020. Like I'd got 2 jobs, I'd done my solo concert, I'd gone on holiday, I was about to do another job, and then obviously this pandemic hit. And I just was so completely blindsided by it. I think all of us were. Um, and March was going to be March, April, May, June. The whole year was going to be an extremely exciting year, and obviously that has been robbed from everyone. So yeah, but last March I was getting ready to start a job, and then didn't, and then haven't really worked properly other than doing rent for that stint until it got cancelled again. That's been me for 2020.
Yeah, because um like about cases, like I've heard of it, and honestly it sounds so cool, but like how does it feel to be in like such a cool and original musical like that?
It's really cool because Dominic wrote Cases about 3, 4 years ago, but it's been a project he's been working on for much, much longer. Um, and he did like his first showcase of it back in 2017, I think it was, coming up in February actually. He did it at the Phoenix Arts in London, and they just did like a little intimate concert just to like showcase what he'd written so far. And that was like the start of it, not the start, but like where like people started picking up on his music and stuff. And then it was earlier this year that he called my previous agent and was like, I'd really like Maiya to be a part of it, blah blah. But I was potentially going in for another job at that point, so I didn't know whether I was going to be able to take it or not. But then last minute he was like, we've not found anyone we really want. Would Maiya please be able just to come in and do it? And I was like, yeah, let's just do it. This was like the Monday night, and by the Tuesday afternoon I was in London. And then we did the photo shoot, we learnt the material, and then what they were doing was they were like working the rehearsals around the cast because there was only 4 of us. So they were able to just put rehearsal here and there. And what it was like a rehearsal at the end of January, rehearsal at the end of February, and then like 2 weeks before we were going to like open at the end of March. And it's so cool because I'd never seen Cases before other than listening to the music when we like get sent the midis and stuff to learn it. And it's really fascinating because being a part of a new musical, you can kind of put your own stamp on something because you don't have a reference of anything else. So like the way you interpret it is completely down to you. Obviously with the help of like Dominic and whoever directs it, because Grace was directing who I worked on with Six. Um, it's about working with them, and it's a very, very, very collaborative process. It's very different to work. Like I haven't worked yet other than Rent, but I even feel like that was still a very collaborative process because we were still paving our way through that because we had a lot of restrictions because of a pandemic. So that yet again didn't feel like this musical where it was really rigid and we had to stick to all the rules. It was very much like you could put your own stamp on it yet again. So I've never been in a musical where you have to stand on this light on this cue and do this and do that, if that makes sense, because somebody else did that before me. um, and that's the cool thing about doing a new musical is that it's completely and utterly up to you, to a certain degree. But in the way of Cases, it was amazing because I've never done something like a song cycle musical, and also because we were going to be the first people getting it up on its feet, other than it being like the concert that I did before. We were going to be the ones who were able to like, if it required dialogue, like we were going to like help do the dialogue, like that kind of thing. And that's what I mean by like a collaborative process. And I still speak to Dom now because we still have like some Cases things ticking over and things like we've got some really exciting things coming up, which is great because there's things that I thought we'd be able to achieve last year, and we've probably exceeded that even without being able to do the live performances. So I'm really excited for those announcements, which will be coming up soon.
Ooh, okay, I'll keep an eye out for that because I'm really excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So about Rent, like how much did you enjoy playing as Mimi again, like after years?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. When I did Rent the first time, I was like, I have to do this again. I have to do this again. But this time now I've done it, and I had such an incredible time. And I had an incredible time last time, but there was something about this production that, like, that box for me is ticked. Like, I don't ever want to experience Rent outside the way I've experienced it now because it was just like the bond that we have with the cast. I absolutely adore every single one of them. The creatives, the way, I think it was because of the like the circumstances we were under as well, and everything is so much more heightened. But the people that were involved in that production were just the most incredible people I've ever met, and each and every single one of them have added something to my life. And you never think like, not well, never, but like, I'm 23 years old now. I'm going to meet so many more people, but I don't expect people to really like hit me like these people that these 12 people did. Um, it was just the most incredible experience, and I pray to the ancestors that it can come back after all this is finished, and I say finished, but is under control. So yeah.
Yeah, I hope I can watch it one day because it doesn't stream here. So
I know I didn't even know about the geo block thing. I had no idea, and it wasn't until they actually did some digging and the rights people were like, you can't do that. And they were really strict about it, unfortunately, because they were extremely like great about letting us film it, and that's never been done before. Because the thing is, with the show, they want it to be performed and then it just like back into the ether. They don't want it to be out there. So for them to allow us to film it and stream it for a certain amount of performances is amazing. So when they were like, yeah, you can't, we really had to like stick to it, which was a shame. But hopefully we can still make it accessible again somehow.
yep, hopefully. Right, so I feel like you've been on a roll, honestly. Like you've got seven as well. Like it's your outfits and every single outfit's worn. Like I can't. I'm obsessed. So I'd like to know what's your favorite song that you've sung with the seven girls so far.
Oh, I have two. Queen by Jessie J and Up the Ladder to the Roof by the Supremes. They're my two favourites that we've done so far. Like I think everyone we've done has been great, but that those have just been like clicked. They've been like the best. Yeah, they've been amazing.
Yeah, I almost got a heart attack listening to Queens.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Nat and Amy did a really good job of like arranging that, and yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, and the outfits, everything, it's so aesthetic and like powerful. I've got another like music theater related question for you. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
if you can take any musicals in the world on tour to any destination in the world, where would that what musical and where would it be?
Oh wow. I'd love to take the Wiz on tour. I think that would be really cool. Like the Wiz is an amazing musical, and it's been one that I've loved like since I was a kid. So to be able to like do that and tour with that, that would be super cool. Because I think it's like, even though it's that side of the story that's never told, because for slightly from the Wizard of Oz. Um, and I just think it'd be great. Do it. It's never really done. I don't think it's been done in the UK because of rights and things like that. But it would be just in my dream world. It would be great to like hit every single continent and do it.
Okay, everyone manifest that right now. We can make it happen someday.
I know. That's manifesting.
Okay, so I put a little question box on my story yesterday to give a chance to people to ask questions, and yeah, some people asked a few, so I'm just gonna give them to you. So one of them was if there's like a Maya the musical, like what genre would that be? And like if it's like a jukebox musical, what artists would be featured?
Oh, that's a really good question. No one has ever asked me that before. I feel like it would be very R&B, like very R&B, very neo soul, indie R&B. That would be me, be kind of my vibe. And if it was a jukebox musical, oh, it would probably be the music of Beyonce. be fair, because I love Beyonce. So I'd somehow make it relate to my life.
I mean, yeah, that's amazing. The power.
The fingers crossed.
Okay. So, another question is there like anything like hobbies that you've picked up while in lockdown?
I've been terrible, if I'm honest. I've like squandered learning any hobbies during lockdown. All I've done is eat and watch movies. I've just not had like the motivation to learn to do something new. Um, I don't know whether that's because of where I was last year or whether just I just didn't have the motivation to really do anything. Um, so yeah, I did a couple of jigsaws.
I mean, that's understandable because I also kind of feel the same, but like I'll get weird, like random motivations to like do something. Yesterday, I just randomly like grabbed some forks and started making rings out of them for some reason.
That's do it. If you get a surge of motivation, use it. I'm actually jealous because I have zero motivation to do it. Especially when they say the word lockdown, I'm like, right, okay, it's another time where I'm not going to be motivated.
Yeah, totally. Um, so I've got like two more, and then that's about everything that I've got. Um, Someone asked, "What's your favorite moment of like any show that you've been in?"
God. Um, oh, I don't know. My favorite moment of just like anything, like live or like
Yeah, like any musical, any parts that you've played.
um. Well, Mimi's definitely one. Definitely. Well, obviously Catherine Parr's up, but then like I've only really had 3 jobs since I've graduated. Um, I'd probably say Mimi just because it was one of like Catherine Parr brought me so much, and really established me as a performer and in the West End and globally, which is crazy. But I'll probably say Mimi just because it was an extreme like passion project for me. Like, there's not always that often that you get to live out like your extreme passions because not always those opportunities come around because the musical doesn't come around often. So I really got to live out like my dream doing that show.
Oh, that's really lovely. So, my last question is, what's the one piece of advice that has really stuck with you?
Oh, there's been many, many. Uh, what's been the one piece of advice that's really stuck with me? I always say it, but I can't remember even who told me this, but it was always be a first class you and never a second class somebody else. Because in that sense, you always compare yourself and strive to be like somebody else, but you can never be them because they aren't you. Um, so I always say be apologetically you. Don't be afraid to be who you are. And that's such a bold statement and such a wide statement, but it's in the sense of just not being afraid of criticism, not being afraid to be under that spotlight, not being afraid to be a little bit vulnerable out there. And don't apologize for it. And yeah, never apologize for who you are and what you bring to the table. You might look at somebody else, and everybody does it. I still do it. Like, there's no amount of advice that will stop people from comparing yourselves to others. We're human beings, but in order to get that under control, you can always think that yes, that person can, I don't know, sing a top F, but what can I do that makes me shine? What can I do that brings myself to the table? Don't try. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with striving to be better and being inspired by others, but don't try and be somebody else. and also that another piece of advice when I was at drama school we got given was be a sponge in a bubble on a pathway, and that was said by one of my teachers called Rachel Kerridge, and she says it like right at the beginning of your first year. So true, because it's in the sense of like be a sponge, soak up all the information from everybody around you, take notes that aren't even directed at you, because then it makes you correct and see if you're doing something right. In the bubble, protected by your own little bubble, don't let anybody burst or penetrate your bubble, be on your own path. And that path is whatever path you take yourself on, and however much you take into your sponge and how much you take onto that path is your path is completely different to somebody else's path. And I think that was really good heed of advice that kind of like links in with the like don't ever try and be somebody else, like you are your own sponge in your own bubble on your own path.
Yeah, I think that would really help a lot of people and like me as well. So thank you so much, Maya, for
Oh good, I'm glad.
so before we go, is there anything coming up for you? Anything you want to say to people watching this?
Well, we have an exciting announcement with cases, but anything else in my life right now has come very much to a halt. But that I'm sure that will soon change as this is ever evolving and ever changing every day. But as of right now, we're still in lockdown in the UK, which I'm not too sure when is being lifted or extended or whatever Boris Johnson decides to do. I'm not sure. So up until now, I don't really know, but I'm excited to see what else this year can give, because 2020 has already been wild and we are only 9 days in. So I'd like to see what happens.
I take like a quick Polaroid before we go.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I look awful because it's so early here.
No, you don't. You look great.
Oh gosh.
All right, hang on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you so much, May. I really appreciate this.
No, no worries. No worries at all.
Thank you so much. Have a good
No
day.
worries. It's been fun. And you enjoy the evening. See you
Bye.
later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.